Welcome to another episode of Search Party, the podcast that helps you navigate the wild world of online visibility. I'm your host, and today we're talking about one of the hottest topics out there, AEO, or Answer Engine Optimization. Specifically, we're going to learn how to do a quick free audit to see how our brands are showing up in AI engines like ChatGPT, Gemini, and Copilot. To help us with this, we've got Matt Harris, an expert in all things AEO and SEO. Matt, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's a topic I'm pretty passionate about, especially because it feels so new, and a lot of people are unsure where to even start.
That's exactly it. It feels like a black box. So let's start with the basics. For the business owner listening who is just trying to keep up, what exactly is AEO? And how is it different from the SEO we all know?
Great starting point. SEO, search engine optimization, is all about optimizing your website to rank highly on a search engine results page, the SERP. You're competing for 10 blue links. AEO, answer engine optimization, is about optimizing your content to be selected as the source for a direct answer within an AI interface. You're not competing for a click, you're competing to be the answer. The AI synthesizes information from its training data and provides a single conversational response. Your goal is to be the source it cites.
So it's less about driving traffic to my site and more about being the authoritative voice that the AI quotes.
Exactly. It's about mindshare and authority. Think of it as digital PR for the AI age. When an AI cites your brand as the expert, that's incredibly powerful social proof. And ironically, while the initial goal isn't a click, that authority often does lead to clicks later when users want to learn more from the source.
That makes perfect sense. So, how can a business owner with no budget for fancy tools quickly check their own AI visibility? What's the first step of this $0 audit?
The first step is the simplest. You have to go and search for yourself, but you have to do it strategically. Open up a fresh session of ChatGPT or Gemini or Copilot. I recommend testing on at least two different engines because they can have different data sets and biases. In a new chat, ask a fundamental question about your core product or service. For example, if you run a local bakery known for sourdough, you'd ask, what is the best sourdough bakery in your city?
Okay, so you're asking the exact question you hope a potential customer would ask.
Precisely. You need to think like your customer. Use their language, not your internal marketing jargon. And this is crucial. Make sure you're not logged into an account that has a history of searching for your own business, as that can bias the results. You want a clean, objective, first-time user perspective.
Got it. Clean session, customer centric questions. So I've asked the question, what am I looking for in the response? What constitutes a win?
You're looking for three possible outcomes. The first and best outcome is a direct citation. The AI says something like, many local food critics and residents point to Harris Bakery on Main Street as the premier spot for sourdough. That's a home run. The second outcome is what I call the ghost citation, where the AI describes your business. A bakery on Main Street known for its long fermentation process, but doesn't name you. That means you're in the data set, but not authoritatively linked to those attributes. The third and worst outcome is no mention at all, or a mention of your direct competitor.
And if you get that home run, that direct citation, what does that tell you about your current content?
It tells you that you've done a fantastic job of establishing topical authority. Your website content, your reviews on third-party sites like Yelp or Google Business Profile, and mentions in local news articles have all been synthesized by the AI to position you as the answer. Your content is clear, authoritative, and probably structured in a way that's easy for these engines to understand.
And what about the ghost citation? That feels a little spooky. If the AI is describing my business but doesn't name me, what's the gap there?
That's the most common result I see, and it usually points to a lack of clear entity association. The AI has ingested data about baking techniques or attributes of a good bakery, and it knows those attributes exist somewhere, but it hasn't confidently connected those attributes to your specific business name. The fix is almost always better on-page SEO fundamentals. You need to more explicitly and consistently associate your business name with your key attributes. Are you clearly stating Harris Bakery sourdough bread instead of just our sourdough? Are your name, address, and phone number, your NAP data consistent everywhere on the web? This is classic SEO that directly feeds AEO.
So the audit is already revealing gaps in our basic SEO work. Let's say I get the worst outcome. No mention. Or even worse, my competitor is named. What's the diagnosis then?
If you're completely absent, it means you're virtually invisible to the AI's understanding of your category. This is a fundamental discoverability issue. The AI's training data is drawn from the public web, so if you're not there in a meaningful way, you can't be an answer. This means you likely have a very thin website, little to no presence on industry-related websites, no reviews, and no press mentions. You need to start building your digital footprint from the ground up.
This is incredibly helpful. So we've searched for one core term. Is that enough? Or should we be testing a portfolio of questions?
You should absolutely test a portfolio. I recommend categorizing your searches. First, search for your brand name directly. What is your brand name? This tests your direct brand authority.
And what should you hope for there?
You want a rich, accurate summary pulled from your website's About Us page, your meta description, key product pages. It should get the facts right. Next, search for your product category, which we already did with the best sourdough question. Finally, search for a how-to or problem-solving question related to your expertise. For our baker, that might be, how do I get a more sour sourdough starter? If you're the expert, you want your content to be the source for that answer.
I love that. So you're auditing your brand authority, your product authority, and your expertise authority. Now, let's get hyper practical. How do I actually score this? Is there a simple rubric a business owner can use?
Yes, I use a simple 1-5 scoring system. A score of 5 means you are directly named and cited as the best or a top answer. A score of 4 means you are directly named and accurately described. A score of 3 is that ghost citation. You're described but not named. A score of 2 means you're only mentioned in a list of other options. And a score of 1 means you're completely absent or the information about you is wrong. Run 5 different queries across those categories, score each one, and average them out. Yeah, that's your baseline AEO score.
That is fantastically simple. No tools required, just a notepad. Now, you've identified the gaps. What are the first no-cost or low-cost things you should do to fix them? Let's start with the ghost citation issue.
The first thing is to go back to your website and do a content clarity audit. Look at your key pages. Is your brand name tightly coupled with your key attributes? You need to be explicit. Instead of, we make great sourdough, it should be, Harris Bakery is renowned for its authentic San Francisco-style sourdough bread. Use schema markup, specifically article and FAQ schema, to help engines understand the context of your content. This is a technical SEO task, but it's huge for AEO. And finally, ensure your Google business profile is packed with detailed, keyword-rich information and high-quality photos. These are all primary data sources.
And for the business that's completely absent the score of 1?
They need to focus on digital PR and foundational content. Start by getting listed in relevant online directories, not just any directory, but ones in your industry and locality. Encourage happy customers to leave detailed reviews on Google and other platforms. Write blog posts that answer the common questions your customers have. You need to seed the web with accurate, positive information about your business so the AI has something to draw from. It's a longer process, but it all starts with creating that foundational content.
This might be a dumb question, but how often does this data update? If I make these changes today, can I check again tomorrow and see a difference?
Not a dumb question at all. It's one of the biggest misconceptions. These AI models are trained on massive static data sets that are snapshotted in time. ChatGPT's current model might be trained on data only up to, say, mid-2023. So changes you make to your website today won't be reflected until the next major model training update, which could be months away. However, some engines, like Perplexity or some features in Bing, are incorporating more real-time web search. The key takeaway is that this is a long game strategy. You're optimizing for the next training cycle, not for instant results.
That is a critical point. This is about building lasting authority, not quick wins. Now, for our listeners who are ready to go a bit deeper, are there any tools you use to scale this audit process beyond these manual searches?
Sure. For my own clients, I use a platform like SEO Melon to track a much larger set of queries across multiple AI engines over time. It helps automate the process and provides a dashboard to see trends, especially as new models are released. But the manual audit we just walked through is the perfect $0 way to get started and understand the core concepts. It gives you the foundational knowledge you need before you ever spend a dime.
Fantastic. Matt, this has been incredibly enlightening. To wrap up, what is the one actionable takeaway you want every business owner to leave with today?
The takeaway is this: block 15 minutes on your calendar today. Open a private browser window, go to 2 different AI chatbots, and ask 3 questions. What is my brand? What is the best my product category in my city? And how do I solve a key problem my business solves? Score the results on that 1 to 5 scale. That simple audit will give you more insight into your AI visibility than anything else. It will immediately show you where you're winning, where you're a ghost, and where you're completely absent, and it will directly inform your content strategy for the next 6 months.
I love it. A 15-minute $0 audit that delivers immediate insight. Matt Harris, thank you so much for breaking this down and making it so practical.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And thank you for listening to Search Party. Until next time, keep asking the right questions.